Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again. Today, we have a macro update on Ukraine, and that is major developments. And I have about 6 topics. The first one, we're going to discuss about Russia's triangle offensive tactics. So it seems like now we find out that Russia has 3 successful ways to destroy the enemy. Now, which are those 3? Business Insider will let us know. We're going to ignore their analysis of what you need to hate and what you need to love. Okay, we're not going to go into that. The other topic, Russia is preparing to reactivate, restart Nord Stream pipelines. Remember the ones that were sabotaged by you know who. All right, that's interesting. Then we find out that about 30 drones targeted Russian region, Moscow. 30 drones overnight, according to the Russians. Then we have the Russians returning the favor with some 100 some drones hitting Ukraine. Then we have this guy that is part of the European establishment. I don't want to call them elites, whatever they are, Macron. Now, I don't know if Macron is a baboon, which I never thought he was a baboon. I thought he was a weasel who knows who's paying him. Therefore, he's going to dance for them. And that's not the European or the French no, it's not. It's people in charge of him. So Macron makes this statement, which I think it's really imbecilic at best. He says that he doesn't consider Russia's opinion as being important on peacekeeping mission in Ukraine. So Macron, the president of France, who is used to be wannabe, says that Russia's opinion on the troops deployment, European troops deployed in Ukraine, should not matter. We don't care what you say. All right, so but what am I saying? This guy is either evil or incompetent or delusional, however crazy maybe, is Lavrov and Rubio, so the foreign minister of the Russian Federation, and the Secretary of State of the United States of America, Marco Rubio, and Sergei Lavrov. They had another conversation in order to discuss ties. So they had a phone conversation to discuss restoring communication. So the Americans, with all due respect towards the French nation, I'm talking about the French from 1812, 1813, 1814. Those French I'm talking about, okay? Not the Mbappe and these guys, okay? No, not les noirs, but les bleus still. So I'm talking to you guys. You have to accept that nowadays you are not what you used to be. I'm being very generous in my vocabulary that I use here. You're not what you used to be. I don't want to say you're trash, but anyway. So compared with the United States of America, which is again, I don't think it's what it used to be a few years back. I think you're not really matter here. So the Americans get closer to the Russians, think that it's the right thing to communicate and restore communication, and you're saying that the Russians' input into deploying peacekeeping troops in Ukraine next to Russia should not matter. Their opinion should be ignored, and it's coming from France, which is about 1,500 kilometers west of Ukraine, even more. So you tell me what's going on with this Macron. First, he's delusional. Nobody cares about you and your country in this context. You're weak. If you were strong, you would be saying like this: French troops will go to Ukraine now. And everybody will go over there. Everybody, all the French troops, not the foreign legion with the legionnaires, with the foreigners, with big balls. No, the French people. And the Mbappes, they should go over there. But they don't. Why? Because I'm small and weak. That's why. But he's weak together with another baboon called Starmer, or another bottom feeder, like a carp. The carp on the bottom. They feed on the bottom because whatever drops over there, what's remaining, so they're losers. They don't do it. Starmer, you know what? We're going to send troops to Ukraine. They don't do that. Remember when Trump asked him in the White House, Starmer, are you going to take, it was this way, are you going to take on Russia? And Starmer, no. Why? You know you are weak. But hey, you have opinions. You can have opinions, but you're still a baboon. All right, let's start with the first article. This comes from Business Insider. And this is from March 15th, 2025. Russia's offensive power triangle in Ukraine, and we ignore this, is a warning for NATO. Why? Because they're going to interpret it, hey, we have to rearm because these guys all of a sudden we find out in 3 years of war that they're actually strong. Remember, they were portrayed, the Russian military, the Russian command, they were talking about Shoigu and there were all the generals over there. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know. We're the guys, man. And the Russian Sukhois, MiGs and S-400s and all those Panzer are zero. And the tanks, nothing. And now they tell us, no. Actually, Russia's offensive power triangle. Okay, so let's see what the triangle is. And they tell us right here. Russia has hit an offensive triangle of tactics that are forcing Ukraine to lose ground. It's not Ukraine, it's NATO that's losing ground, which they're right here. Like they shitted their pants. They're, oh my God, these guys are not baboons as we thought. The key reviving Russian air power has been a surprising low-tech weaponry, glide bombs. Glide bombs shatter the fortified position Ukraine soldiers need to stop Russian assault troops. So what are the three of them? We got them right here. This offensive triangle, as British military analysts term it, is a triple threat of infantry, that hoorah, boom, 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 people with balls I'm talking, drones, okay, and glide bombs, boom. See, I got you in war. So these are the ones that Ukraine can't stop. You see that? Can't, incapable. So now all of a sudden we find out the Russians actually are strong. But hey, Macron said we shouldn't talk to the Russians. Why do we ask the Russians? Alle, let's go and find out. All right, so this is the first topic. Second topic. New Voice of Ukraine, March 14th. Russia may be preparing to restart Nord Stream gas pipelines. So that means they're in cahoots with the Americans now. I mean, we know who the pipelines, don't we? Russia may be gearing up to repair and restart the Nord Stream natural gas pipelines in the Baltic Sea. Russian publication IS reported on March 14, citing indirect signs. One early indicator is that the Russian firm that helped build Nord Stream 2 appears to be gearing up for a large contract with the Americans. A source close to Gazprom's leadership told the journalists that the company is actively acquiring patents for technical solutions used in pipeline construction. So they will try to do that. All right. So what do you think? They should. But the problem is, are we going to ever find out who the Americans were? I mean, who did it? I don't think we need to. I think we know. The problem is this. Anything happens to these guys? No. Why? They're too strong. I mean, if those guys will be really the Ukrainians or something like that, they would be already punished and so on. But they're not. All right. Let's go to the next one. Next topic. This comes from Ukrainska Pravda. Sunday, today, March 16th, 2025. Over 30 drones target Russian regions, plural, overnight, Moscow says. Russia's Ministry of Defense has claimed that 31 drones attacked 4 Russian oblasts on the night of 15th to 16th of March. All right, so let's see where what they did. Voronezh Oblast, there were how many? 16 drones has been over Voronezh. All right, let's see where Voronezh is, shall we? All right. Here's the map of Ukraine, and Voronezh is right here. This is Kursk, this is Sumy, this is the Crimean Peninsula, so you know where we are. So, Voronezh, they said 30-some, right? Is this? No, this. So, 16 drones, 9 over Belgorod. And where is Belgorod? Belgorod is exactly right here. All right. Then we go to 5 over Rostov and 1 over Kursk. So Rostov is right here. And Kursk obviously is right here. So this area, let's say, this area was attacked by about some drones, over 30 drones. Next one. Let's see what the Russians did to the Ukrainians. Ukrinform. 16th of March 2025. Ukraine intercepts 47 Russian drones, 33 decoys, veer off course. So it gets me what, to 80? Yeah, they get me to 80 so far. In the early hours of Sunday, March 16, Ukraine Defense Forces shot down 47 Russian drones, while 33 enemy UAVs were lost from radar. And how many were launched? Because there must be some baboons flying somewhere. So yes, used 90 Shahed-type drones. That's what they did. And they launched them from Milerovo, Bryansk, Shatalovo, Primorsko-Akhtarsk, Cape Shauda. So Bryansk and everybody else. And let me show you where those are. So Bryansk is right here. The Shatalovo is north of this, right here. Then you go nicely to Milerovo right here. Then you go to Primorsko-Akhtarsk exactly here. And then you go to Cape Shauda fantastically here by the Kerch Bridge on the Crimean Peninsula. So these are the areas where the Russians launched their drones. And let's see what they attacked. Did they tell us? All right, they say they attacked Kharkiv, Poltava, Sumy, Cherkasy, Kiev, Zhytomyr, Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, Odessa regions. So these are the Fertile Crescent, let's put it this way. From Kiev, Chernihiv, Sumy, Kharkiv, Poltava, Cherkasy, Dnipropetrovsk, Nikolaev, Odessa. So this part here. Nothing in the center, nothing in the west. Next one. Ukrainska Pravda. Russia launches 90 drones on Ukraine overnight. 47 pop. We already got this one. And now we turn into the baboon. Ukrainska Pravda. Macron does not consider Russia's opinion important on peacekeeping mission in Ukraine. This Richelieu. You see the little stars over there? Stars of imbecility. All right, so he thinks, no, it's not important. Let's see what he says. Macron said that such a military deployment would be limited to a few thousand people for each volunteering country stationed at key points to conduct training programs and demonstrate our long-term support. I would like to say something. Excuse me, teacher. Yes, I want to say something. Yeah, okay. Say. Wasn't that Minsk agreement in 2015 saying the same thing, that the French are the guarantors of the Minsk agreement implementation? Yes, Mr. Kosman, you're right. Thank you very much, mofo. So, you already tapped your chance. That was in 2015 when the Russian says, okay, we're going to trust you. Not. But hey, maybe you changed. They didn't. Since 2015, the Minsk agreement too, the Germans and the French, Holland was at that time, plus, what's his name? Her name. Meghan Markle of Germany. They said we're going to be the guarantors that the Ukrainians are going to implement. They didn't implement shit. That's why we got to the war now. Right? So friends, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Nobody's listening to you. Go back over there, go to your room, wash your butt, clean your room, brush your teeth, and go to bed. No, I'm not going to talk to you in bed tonight. You're up. Go. All right. So this is what he says, Macron. If Ukraine decides to ask for allied troops to be on its territory, it's not Russia's business to accept it or reject this. Isn't that the same thing you said in 2021 when the Russians showed up at you and said, you know, this is a little list that we have for you. Let's discuss our sphere of influence in Ukraine and NATO presence in Ukraine. You did the same thing. None of your business, Ruski. Go back over there and drink some vodka, do some kazachok, kapaka, and that's it. And balalaika, and that's it. That was it. And the Russian says, okay, let me drink my tea first. Let's go, davai. And boom, they fucked them up, to be straight. And now, again, the same attitude after 3 years. And says who? Macron. Facron, why don't you send your I was about to say husband, your wife. Why don't you send those guys over there? No? No. All right. So he's yeah, it's true. It's true what you said. In an ideal world, we don't live in an ideal world. You already stepped on the Russians' cock. So they're hurting right now. So he's going to give you pain. And in the same time, when this guy is so tough, don't talk to the Russians, it's not Russia's business. Here is what the Americans are doing. New voice of Ukraine. Rubio and Lavrov discuss U.S. Russia ties in rare phone call. Why would these guys talk to the Russians when Macron says, no, it's not a business? Jesus Christ, man. You know who the traitors are, man. They just show up like, how do you call that? I don't know, the worms after the rain. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio held a phone conversation with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. During the call, the two officials discussed the next step. They're moving forward. And this guy is doing what? Taking a shit? Following recent meetings in Saudi Arabia and agreed to continue working on restoring U.S. Russia communication channels. Rubio also briefed Lavrov of U.S. military operations against Yemen's Houthi rebels, which I covered earlier today in a video, emphasizing that continued attacks on American military and commercial vessels in the Red Sea will not be tolerated. What are you doing in the Red Sea, and what is the American military doing over there? Oh yeah, they're protecting the commercial vessels. Of whom? Of their bosses. Next one. Ukrainska Pravda. U.S. Secretary of State and Russian Foreign Minister hold phone call to discuss restoring communication between countries. Excellent. And let's see what these guys are saying. The Russians. Russia Today, 16th of March. Lavrov and Rubio discuss next steps in restoring Russia-U.S. ties. The phone conversation between the senior officials comes amid a thaw in relations following years of tensions over the Ukraine conflict. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke today with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. They discussed next steps to follow up on recent meetings in Saudi Arabia and agreed to continue working towards restoring communications between the United States and Russia. The statement read, excellent, excellent. So, you see all these guys now, they're activated. Like the Lithuanian, the Baltic states, total population of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, 6.1 million people, 6.1, like two football teams about. But they are very, like, more like a little dog that goes around, is just annoying. You just feel like, where is the owner? Okay, the dog has no problem, the dog is the dog. You have a problem with the owner. Who's the owner of those dogs, I wonder? And then you got Poland, activated. Then you got Finland, I've covered today. And they got France, they got the guys in Great Britain. London is the Hydra. That's the head of the Hydra. All right? Must be not a Medusa, the Hydra. So must be, and the Russians know it. Why don't you send your boys? You have no boys. And you have no balls as well. As I said with the French, don't send your legionnaires, all right, the real men. Send your little latte sipping soybean baboons. Okay, my wine and my cheese. You go over there and get the Ruski. Divide, bring the fuckers here, man. That's the way it is. But no, they know their place. But somehow they're playing with fire. A fire in the sky. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.